All right, House of Payne fans. Yeah, a lot to talk about here. Even though, again, I thought I was done talking about the Janine subject, but reading the comments on the "Is Janine really dead?" Did Demetria hint at Janine's return? Just looking at the comments there, I've been seeing some very interesting thoughts from viewers of House of Payne, and that's the fact that some people were talking about in the comment section if killing Janine would be such a bad thing. Me personally, I have no issue if they did kill the character, and this isn't anything against Demetria, this isn't anything against Janine, but you know me, when it comes from a story perspective, going back to like the haves and the have-nots, I always said the same thing. Whenever a character is killed off of a show, especially when they're a main character, I always think about, who would benefit from their death. Well, typically that's in regards to like a murder, like, okay, who killed such and such, like who had motivation to do it. If this character were to die, who would their death impact? Would it lead to some changes going on? That kind of thing. And with Janine, I would think it would lead to some character shifts, but overall, I'm going to be completely honest here. Despite being an OG House of Payne fan, yet I haven't watched, every single episode of the new series, yes, but of the OG series, no. It's hard for me to feel any sort of attachment to Janine as of late. Well, let me just talk about the Janine of the reboot. I mean, I don't count the Janine in the Payne series because, well, first of all, she was only in the first 2 or 3 episodes like the rest of her family, and then they were pretty much gone. So, the Janine, CJ, Calvin, and them of the Payne series is irrelevant because that series has been written off as nothing more than a dream by Uncle Curtis. But the Janine in the reboot, I mean, she showed up, expressed how proud she was of Malik until she found out about him getting a stripper pregnant. Put her foot down with CJ about Jasmine seeing Caleb, and that was really it. She was only a guest star in season 9, so being that she didn't even appear in season 10 along with the twins or Jasmine for that matter, if she were to die, would you really feel anything? Because to me, like I said before, it feels like nothing more than a stunt to get ratings. But what would we really be missing? Especially, look, Demetria, I looked it up and people have told me this woman has been putting in the work. She's been in some programs on All Black, that recent Christmas film, the Kirk Franklin Lifetime film, and the list goes on. So she's working. And one thing about Tyler Perry Productions, I want to say, I don't think it's right to say that because it's been proven otherwise countless times. Well, so and so is working on this movie, they're working on this show, so because of that, I think that they're no longer going to be in this Tyler Perry show because of, this film or that show. Tyler Perry films things so quickly, not to mention he's very flexible. There have been actors who say, yeah, I was on a promo run for this movie, but I came in and within like less than 3 days, Tyler was able to get me to film all the stuff he needed from me from this half of the season or that back half of the season. So pretty much sometimes a character will have a reduced role in the season, not because they're leaving the show, but they're working on another project. And with Demetria, I feel like if she ever came back to like film for like season 11 of House of Payne, then I'm pretty sure she would do it. But if her schedule isn't available, then I understand completely. And like I said earlier in the video, Janine's presence really didn't do much for season 9, aside from being part of the main cast returning. But when you look at what she did as a character, not much at all, It's a shame because I remember when the reboot first started, I was like, I kind of see what's going on. Maybe Malik is going to be the Calvin of the series. He's got a girl pregnant. He's still in school. And he's going to have to move back in with his parents. And you know how Curtis and Ella were just throwing it in CJ and Janine's face about, oh yeah, this is like all the stuff y'all did to us is coming back on y'all, which I thought was pretty messed up. But the fact that Janine and CJ were so cool about it, it felt like it was a passing the torch moment where CJ and Janine would be the new Curtis and Ella, being the parents that have to allow their kid to move back in, but at the same time instill wisdom in their child in order for him to become a man, in order to, be successful and support his baby mama and soon to come into the world child. But we didn't really get that, because I thought while Curtis and Ella would still be in the show, they wouldn't be the major characters they were in the Paynes or the House of Payne series. However, CJ and Janine kind of just unceremoniously fade into the background, while Curtis and Ella were all over the place in the season, especially that 3 to 4 episode arc about them being high, which was just god awful. But if Janine died, it would really stink, because of the fact that, number one, I wouldn't really feel much of anything at all. Given the fact that she's barely been in the reboot, I'd be like, meh. Like, it sucks for like a major character from the original series to just die like that. But it's kind of like, when Harriet Winslow, or excuse me, Jo Marie Payton walked away from Family Matters in the last handful of episodes of, season 9, or basically the final season of the show, and then she got replaced with another actress. It's kind of like, wait, why would you even do that? But with Janine, she's just been so absent, but only, mentioned that, hey, Janine still exists, she's just downtown, or she's on a trip, and it's like, okay. So for her to just die off screen like that would suck. But at the same time, with her being dead, let's say there's a funeral and whatnot, to not have Jasmine around, that would really stink. Because if all the other major characters were there to kind of remember Janine, that would be interesting. But if you have her die, and the funeral is off screen, and maybe you have all the characters, I could see it being done like this. Janine dies, the characters are all at, let's say, CJ's house or Curtis's house, and, they're in their funeral attire because, they just got back from the funeral, and then, they're remembering and reminiscing. That would be cool. I think that could be done a good way to do it. But I just don't think that they're going to stick the landing on this. I don't really see them coming out of this on top. Either she's dead and not all the characters are there to memorialize her, or she's alive and it's an ass pull moment. Because I feel like the way to negate the anger of giving us, an emotional cliffhanger that has people going, oh my God, is she dead? And then have her come back. Okay, it's like, okay, well, Janine, she's still alive. She's back. But if Demetria isn't like a major character in season 11, and she's only there for like a couple episodes, yet again, it brings back the question, what was the point of keeping her alive? So I do feel like if you killed off Janine, here are some of the positives that can come from that. You can have a really great episode where the characters reflect. Lisa, this would give her something to do. Her big thing in the finale was impressing Janine and proving to Mrs. Payne that she's not the same stripper, ghetto, ratchet chick that she knew when she went on her trip. But then again, the fact that we barely had any Lisa and Janine moments, the reasoning behind proving herself, while I understand it, it doesn't have enough. There's not enough of a past established on screen between these two to really make sense of it. It's understandable if you've been following the story of these characters, but it would have helped to actually, again, I say this in a lot of these shows, it is better to show than to tell. Like, show us the development, show us the scenes where Janine like kind of sticks her nose up at Lisa, that kind of stuff, but we don't really get that. You can have her just learning about how Janine wasn't the bougie rich person that Lisa thinks that she is, or was, if she's dead. Like, she learns about her addiction and whatnot. That was something that was going to be, that was hinted at twice in the finale, like when Malik was going to say, but then CJ came in, and then CJ was like, you know what, you won't have no idea about what my family's been through, and then he's like, I'm done talking to you. So that could be good Lisa development. With Malik, it's just sad because, like I said, it would be a damn shame the day that his baby's born to also find out his mother died. That would just be so traumatic for him. I can't even begin to fathom what CJ will be going through. Oh man, that's a rough one. I mean, not only to leave him with, I don't even want to say Jasmine because she's not there, to leave Jasmine, the twins who were not seen for an entire season, and then Malik and Lisa and that baby, that would just be insane. That's a lot to handle. Like, even if Malik did wind up moving out with Lisa, I feel like he would move back in, kind of like Benny did with Hannah in the early episodes of the Haves and Have-Nots. Even though we never saw it on screen, Benny had a place not far from Hannah's, but then when Hannah was having, you know, doctor issues with the bills due to breast cancer, that's when he moved back in with her. It's just one of those things where it would be really tough on the family. Believe it or not, I think Curtis would be the character I'd be most interested to see, just based off the fact that he was the one to always, quote unquote, crack jokes on her being a crackhead. So to have him be the one to kind of lighten the mood at like a memorial, I could see that. But at the same time, to really see him just mourn. And even though I highly doubt it, I would like to see Janine's parents, but I don't think they're going to come back for the show, even though it would be good to see them. But I do think that Janine's death could motivate the characters in a good way. But overall, it's just one of those things where, hell, you might see Ella and Miranda kind of get closer together. With Ella losing one daughter-in-law, she might reattach herself stronger to her former daughter-in-law, even though technically you would think she would attach herself to Laura, who is her future daughter-in-law, because she loses one through Janine but gains another through Laura. But Ella and Laura never really had a connection, so I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think killing Janine would be a bad thing? I don't think we'll see CJ in the dating pool again, especially so soon. And to be honest, I don't really see House of Payne lasting too many more seasons, but that's just me. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think killing Janine off would actually be such a bad thing? It's really tough. It's kind of like the argument of Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther, T'Challa. You know, should T'Challa be recast, or should T'Challa just never be recast in the MCU? It's just Black Panther would be another character entirely. It's just one of those. It's tough, because regardless of what decision you make, there's always going to be people who agree with that decision to kill somebody off, or kill Janine off, or, you know, people who are against, you know, her being alive, but then she's not on screen. There are just a number of ways this can be handled right, but then there's also a number of ways that this can be handled incorrectly. So thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe as we move closer to 200,000 subscribers. We are less than 1,200 people away. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out when I post content to the channel. And if you would like to donate, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.